Hello and a warm welcome to you on this edition of Business Africa. I am Afolake Oyinloye. Coming up, CEMAC's microfinance institutions have until January 2020 to comply with the new regulatory framework governing the activity, says Central African Banking Commission. And is the increase in tariffs for telecom services in the Republic of Congo an excessive measure? We have the answers on this edition of Business Africa. And experts still maintain that youth entrepreneurship is the key to maintaining Africa's rise. Microfinance institutions play an important role in banking within CEMAC. However, this activity needs to be structured for effective supervision. To that effect, a regulation was put in place. Starting from January 2018, microfinance institutions operating within CEMAC have up to 2 years to comply with the new regulations governing their activities. The regulation is more strict in terms of monitoring, management, minimum operating capital, as well as the profile of the management team. Sean David Mamley and Ignatius Zano with more.
Central Africa alone has nearly 700 microfinance institutions, half of which are located in Cameroon. The dynamism often rivals that of banks. In 2014, for example, the Cameroon Cooperative Credit Union League claimed assets of 250 million euros according to statistics from the central bank. But there are concerns.
Between 2002 and 2014, Cameroon alone experienced more than 200 bankruptcies of microfinance institutions, taking more than 45 billion CFA francs for savers. We cannot continue to tolerate such practices, which is why the Banking Commission insisted on amending the text by placing emphasis on corporate governance.
A new scheme has been initiated by the Central African Banking Commission to sanitize the management of microfinance institutions.
You will notice that persons in charge, including members of the Board of Directors, must be approved or validated by the Central African Banking Commission. Also, we will entrust the management of financial institutions to professionals better than in the past.
Also, the amount of loans granted to microfinance shareholders and managers will no longer exceed 50 million CFA francs.
Microfinance, alongside mobile phone operators, have contributed significantly to improve banking rates, which have risen from 6% to 22% in Cameroon. But alongside this growth, there are still obstacles. The first is the volume of unpaid loans. While the internationally accepted default rate is 5% to 30 days, in the Central Africa sub-region, it is around 15 to 20%. This has a significant impact on activities and enthusiasm in the sector.
Managers of microfinance institutions have until January 2020 to comply with the new regulations.
David Kane, microfinance expert from Douala, Cameroon, is joining us for more on that report. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Now, what's the importance of microfinance in Africa in general, its contribution to development?
In general, microfinance plays an important role in economic development in Africa, and particularly in Central Africa. Microfinance has helped to bring the banking rate in various countries, in the north, in the west, and in Central Africa. Now, this banking rate has been multiplied by at least 3, and in some regions, you will even find 4. In Central Africa, for example, the rate of banking has fallen from 10% to 18%, or even 20%. Credit must go to microfinance institutions and innovative policies that use microfinance as an extension tool. Now, this has ensured the kind of improvements that we see in the rate of banking. The most important thing in microfinance is that it has enabled the vast majority of people to access credit. The microfinance has also helped to bring activities to the unbanked population.
Now, in your opinion, what's at stake in these new reforms?
First and foremost, the main reasons for this reform is due to the level of minimum capital, which for public limited companies has risen from 50 million CFA franc to 300 million CFA franc. For microfinance institutions in the third category, the figure rose from 25 million CFA franc to 150 million CFA franc. Secondly, henceforth, all first-category microfinance institutions, which represent on average 70 to 80% of the microfinance space in the CEMAC zone, are now obliged to operate within a network. The challenge and advantage in operating in a network is that at the head of the network, there's a specific body that plays a primary supervisory role. The tasks include controlling these microfinance institutions and to train them. Now, this will ensure that these institutions become more competitive and more viable. The third aspect of this regulation is that microfinance institutions, regardless of their category, will have the obligation to appoint one of the independent directors. This individual must sit on their board of directors and must also vote in the event of election or resolution. This director will be responsible for advising directors to bring them in line with internationally acceptable practices within the microfinance institution industry.
Well, thank you very much for those insights. We're going on a break, and when we come back, we'll shed some light on the sudden increase in tariffs for telecom services in Congo. Stay with us.